Hi guys. All right. So I apologize for being gone for so long, although I think actually it was probably just a week. But still, I got completely thrown off because our pay schedule switched over to weekly. So I didn't really factor in filming time, doing a closeout, all that stuff. So you missed one of our checks in March. However, this one I'm going to do today is going to look pretty much identical, with the exception of course, the bills that are coming out. So, but the way I'm doing it, and what I figured I'd do is while we have the weekly checks, I'll do the budget with me's and the cash stuffings, of course. And then what I'll do is, instead of doing a closeout for each week, at the end I'll kind of do a, like a monthly closeout. So how April went, how May went, etc. And I think the weekly paycheck to paycheck budgets stop in June, or just before June. I'll double check that, but either which way. So I got kind of thrown off. So anyhow, we're going to start fresh. It's going to look a lot different now with it being weekly, because basically it'll be my husband's check, my check, husband's check, my check, etc. All right. And honestly, I'm having a little bit of a difficult time with it. And part of that, I know we've talked before about how transactions seem to have been taking longer to come out recently. And I don't know if maybe things got thrown off with the, tax time, stimulus time, who knows. But anyway, so we're just going to work through it. These things happen. And then what I'm hoping to do is, maybe for May, I will walk you through how I even came up with the budget I have. I think that might be helpful, especially if you are new to budgeting. I think sometimes when we, first get into budgeting, or first, start taking it seriously, that how to get started part is sometimes the biggest hurdle, more so than sticking to the budget. And I also budget ahead, months in advance. The reason I do that is because, although my husband is paid every 2 weeks on Thursdays, I'm paid the 15th and the end of the month. And so sometimes, whether it be because of a leap year, or March, which is a longer month, coming right out of February, which is a shorter month, things kind of get skewed. So I budget ahead, and that has actually helped me, especially with this, when we went from basically bi-weekly pay periods to now weekly. When I'm talking about ours combined. So it's a way for me to kind of look ahead, see where I might run into a spot, and be able to kind of shift things around before that happens. So we'll go over that too, and I'll show you what I mean. And I feel like that takes off a lot of stress. Again, especially for just starting, it can be, kind of terrifying to think of that, getting it down to a zero based budget and everything like that. And I'm definitely a big believer in, you have to do what's going to work for you. And I know for me, when I first started, doing things this way, I've always budgeted, but I've been doing it like this for, I don't know, a few months now. And so I wasn't comfortable going down to a zero balance, mostly because I knew there was going to be things I forgot. maybe a new bill that hadn't come yet. For instance, that couch. It took, oh my gosh, 7 months for us to get that couch. By that point, I had almost forgotten about the couch. But I definitely forgot about when the payment would start. So things like that happen. So you've got to do what's going to work for you. And if you have questions or you're not sure how to go about something with yours, let me know. I'd be happy to at least talk it through. Sometimes you just have to talk it out loud to figure it out. So I don't mind being a bouncing board for something like that. So, if you need help, just let me know. All right, so we're going to get started. Now, this is for my check. And this is the check for March 31st, which gets applied to April. And this is going to go through, or take us through, let me double check my calendar. Let's see. Oh, and I still had it on TikTok. So let's see. Okay. So this is going to take us through the 7th because my husband gets paid on the 8th. All right. See, I have to talk this stuff out too. All right, I'm going to bring it in so you can see. Okay, so I am hoping that it is the 1550. I guess it would help if I actually put that number down. All right, 1550. And then we have the mortgage. That will be on the 1st. And that should be $776.40. Then we have Ashley Furniture. That'll be on the 3rd, and that should be for $53. We have Discovery Plus. That is on the 4th for $4.99. Then we have Netflix, also on the 4th for $13.99. Then we have Adobe. That is also on the 4th for $31.86. We have Canva. That comes out on the 5th, and that is $12.95. Then we have ComEd. That's our electric. Comes out on the 6th for $79. Then we have Norton. And that's our antivirus and all that kind of stuff for basically all of our electronics. And that is $21.24. And what I'm also going to have to do is go through each and every one of these online now that I finally got my new debit card. Oh my gosh, that was a saga in of itself. And make sure I update all of these. I don't know what comes out of my checking versus my debit half the time because everything's set up automatic. So I'm going to have to go through and make sure for each of these. I think everything else comes out of my checking, but again, we'll get there. Now that I finally have the card, at least I can now do that. Okay, so that bill total is $993.43, which will leave us with $556.57. Okay, now we're going to bring this all down here. Now, with this being weekly, I guess it would help if I actually moved it up for you guys. Okay, now since we're doing weekly budgets now, these amounts are all going to be half of what you usually see. So I'm going to go ahead and put down medical. That is going to be 50. Grocery is going to be 200. Gas is going to be 70. My husband's allowance is going to be 40. Mine is going to be 25. Household is going to be 25. Eating out is going to be 40. And then miscellaneous is going to be 25. Now that should come out to 475. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 5, 7. Okay, 475. Now, let me just take that. So we're going to take this amount up here, and that is 556, 57. Take away that 475, and we have 8157. So I have to admit, this is one of those things I don't like about the weekly versus the bi-weekly, is I feel like half the checks I have, hardly anything left, and then at the end I can do all my sinking funds and everything else. So I'm just getting used to that. Let's see here. Okay, so that 8157, I am going to go ahead, let me back you out. Actually, I'll just move this up. I'm going to go ahead and just put that for savings. We'll just put it like this. 8157 0. All right. So since there is not much to stuff because the grocery stays in my checking, so really there's only $275 to actually stuff, I'm going to go ahead and just do that in this video. So let me get, let's see here, I think I put it in the front. Yes, I did. Okay, and my new binder is going to be coming hopefully Monday, I think, which will be great because then I can take all the sinking fund envelopes out, which are, the bulkiest of the envelopes, and then I'll just leave this one as my cash envelope, binder. Okay, so sinking funds, those aren't going to get, let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and look at I've got an iPad over off screen. So sinking funds are going to get stuffed the last 2 checks of the month. So the one on the 15th and the 22nd. That's where all the sinking funds will come out. So, for now, let's see here. I don't remember how I broke this down either. Oh yes, I do. Okay. So, back it out just a tad. Okay. So, medical is getting 50. Let me go ahead. Y'all, I am so discombobulated today. Alright, let's get all these out. And my favorite teller at the bank, I love her to death. Now, you know how usually I get all those funky bills? Well, today I have the crispiest 20s I've ever had in my life. And now I'm almost wishing I had those funky bills because I can't get these apart. And I'm definitely not licking my fingers to do it with everything going on. So we'll get through this. 50 bucks goes into medical. So right now I have 50, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 186. Now I'm going to go ahead and just let medical build up. That is one of those envelopes I feel like you can never have enough of. I'm also going to have to fix all this. So we've taken out, we've added in. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to scratch through this. And we're going to just say we added 50 and now we have 186. All right. And that is for 331. Okay. Okay. Grocery stays in checking, so now we're going to move on to gas. Gas is 70. So we did go ahead and bump up the gas amount. So instead of what was it? Instead of $100, it's, what did we bump it up to? Good Lord. 140. So basically each of these checks you're going to see, well, let me see here. What did we do before? Yeah, so gas we used to take $200 out a month. But since we're doing it weekly, I added some extra. So anyway, bottom line, we're putting in 70. 20, 40, 60, and 70. So right now we have, let's put this over here. So 70, 80, 120, and 40. So 140. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and update this as well. But yeah, I will say going to the weekly from the bi-weekly has kind of been a struggle, guys. Like, I stay up on transactions. I keep track of them. But I will say the weekly, I don't know what it is, honestly. I think it's that I feel more pressured than I normally would. I'm making sure everything's just right. But it's just like anything else. I'm just going to have to get used to it, and that's all right. Okay, so for my husband's allowance, he's getting 40. I'm going to go ahead and put that in his envelope. Then I am going to take mine and just set it off to the side. Let me make sure I only give myself 120. 20 and 5. Alright, now household is also getting 25. So we'll do that. And 5. And we already have 25, so that is now 50. And we have actually had to, let's get this. We have actually had to dip into our house maintenance sinking fund because our kitchen faucet broke. in one of the most bizarre ways I've ever seen a kitchen faucet break. So my husband went out and got a new one, and thank God he's a plumber. Well, he doesn't do it anymore, but you know, that's kind of one of those things you just don't forget how to do. So he was able to put it all in, and it is amazing. And it's kind of funny because now I feel like everything else in the kitchen needs an update. Do you ever do that? Like you get one thing like, oh, a new mirror for the bathroom, and all of a sudden you put it up and you're like, well, now it sticks out like a sore thumb because it's so nice and everything else is just beat up. So I don't think I realized how bad it was getting until we got a new one. And I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's a big difference. So, all right, eating out. That is getting 40, 20, 40. And that already has 40 in it. So we're just going to add to that. Oh, actually, I'll just leave it like that. I'll just update the date. Okay. There goes that. And then miscellaneous is going to get 25. So 20 and 5. And there is already 25 in there, so that is going to be a total of 50. All right. Okay. All right, so that is it for the cash stuffing. I almost feel lost now, not stuffing the sinking funds, but I was so used to doing it anytime I filmed, just because it was bi-weekly, so we actually could at that point. All right, so that is that, and like I said, I do plan ahead, and that's to kind of prevent, you know, the inevitable something coming out of left field. And I will show you guys how I do that. I actually do that on my iPad. I have these sheets saved into my iPad. Well, actually, I'll just show you right here. What the heck? I apologize because my screen is probably so dirty. So I have this very same, well, this is the old bill, but let's go over here. Okay, so I have that very same thing we just did. I have that over here. And the reason I like doing this way, A, I'm not wasting, you know, 5,000 sheets of paper. But this way I can go ahead a few months. I mean, I think I have it all the way up until September, y'all. So, yeah. And then little notes of things to remember. But obviously you don't need to have something like this to do the same thing. In fact, what I used to always do, just put that back over here, is I had just a plain old notebook, you know, like the 50-cent notebooks at Walmart. And I would jot down everything. And then go to the next month and see if anything was messed up. When I used to be on a different pay schedule with a different job, that helped tremendously. So again, I'll show you that. I'll show you what I do. I'll show you how I start out and how I restarted budgeting. And hopefully that'll help you guys out too. So I hope your budgets are going well. And again, as always, if you have any questions, let me know. If you're not sure why I'm doing something the way I'm doing it, feel free to ask. I don't mind. And then if you have any questions for the way you're doing something, put it down below, you know, and then there's a lot of great people that I have subscribed, and I appreciate you all so, so much. And, you know, feel free to comment on each other's posts, help each other out. You know, that's kind of what this is all about anyway. So, and I'm so glad to have you on this journey. I can't wait to see y'all's progress. Put them in the description. What are you doing well? Or not the description, that's my job, but put it in the comments. What did you do well? What are you finding you need to work on? We actually, believe it or not, have done better with the food. I'm feeling much better, so it's a little easier for me to get my, I almost said the SHIT. It's a little bit better for me to get my stuff together when I'm feeling good. So, let me know, what are you working on? What do you need to work on? All right. So I will see you, well, technically in a few days. And we'll see how this goes. All right, guys. Bye.